So what I'm saying is, when you are older, most of you will be gay. So anyone writing this stuff down? Parents? Anyway, I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life, and the way I ended up on this path was from a very tragic event. I was maybe 19, and my girlfriend at the time was killed in a car accident. And I passed the accident, and I didn't know it was her. And I kept going, and I found out shortly after that it was her. And I was living in a basement apartment. I had no money, I had no heat, no air. I had a mattress on the floor, and the apartment was infested with fleas. I was so searching. I was like, why is she suddenly gone? And there are fleas there. I don't understand. There must be a purpose, and wouldn't it be so convenient if we could pick up the phone and call God and ask these questions? And I started writing, and what poured out of me was an imaginary convention with God, which was one-sided, and I finished writing it, and I looked at it, and I said to myself, and I hadn't even been doing stand-up ever. There was no club in town. I said, I'm gonna do this on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. At the time, he was the king, and I'm gonna to be the first woman in the history of the show to be called over the sit-down. And several years later, I was the first woman in the history of the show, and the only woman in the history of the show to sit down. Because of that phone conversation with God that I wrote, and I started this path of stand-up, and it was successful, and it was great, but it was hard because I was trying to please everybody, and I had this secret that I was keeping, that I was gay. And I thought if people found out, they wouldn't like me, they wouldn't laugh at me. Then my career turned into I got my own sitcom, and that was very successful, another level of succeed. And I thought, what if they find out I'm gay? Then they'll never watching. And this was a long time ago. This was when we just had one president. But anyway, this was back many years ago, and I finally decided that I was living with so much shame and so much fear that I just couldn't live that way anymore, and I decided to come out and make it creative. And my character would come out at the same time. And it wasn't to make a political statement It wasn't to do anything other than to free myself up from the heaviness that I was carrying around. And I just wanted to be alert. And I thought, what's the rose? What's the worst that could happen? I can lose my career. I did. I lost my career. I got the show was cancelled after 6 years without even telling me. I read it in the paper. The phone didn't ring for 3 years. I had no offers. Nobody wanted to touch me at all. And yet, I was getting letters from kids that almost committed suicide, but didn't because of what I did. And I realized that I had a purpose.